Hello, Year 12 and 13. I hope you've had a great week. This week's assembly is really about your assessments. Year 12, obviously, you've been having your assessments this week and the importance of that feedback and what your next steps. Year 13, obviously, your assessments are coming up in the next couple of weeks, or some of you might have already started having those assessments. You know me, I love a quote, and that quote really kind of sums up kind of all our daily challenges that we have every day. So although we've got these assessments and we know we're placing, quite a bit of importance on these assessments, it's actually what we do every single day that matters, getting ourselves into those good habits. And we do have challenges every day, whether it's our fitness goals, whether it's challenges overcoming, driving tests. We are kind of the last 12, 13 years in school. We get used to testing, and testing is really important for us and how we manage how we're doing and how we can get better. So I've talked to Year 13 about this before, about why we test, and we actually know that practice and purposeful practice is how we improve and how we get better. We need to check what you know. We need to check what you've learned over the last couple of weeks, what you've learned maybe over the lockdown when we weren't in school. We want to find out what you can do and how well you can do it, because obviously as teachers we use this as what we call a diagnostic to check how well you're performing it and whether we have to go over work, because obviously the most important thing is we're preparing you for those assessments next year. It's also about, we talk about a lot about the planning, the monitoring and evaluation. So we want to, if you're working really hard and the work's not going in, we need to think about strategies to help and support you. So we kind of get you better, more effective with your working, your learning. And also just about motivation and effort, because we appreciate that coming back has been, for some of you, a bit of a challenge. For some of you, you've really enjoyed being back in school. And our job is to make sure that we've got you on the right path, that you know kind of what you're working for, and we can help you with that. And obviously our next steps. So for Year 13, we know that your assessments are not until, your mock exams are not until February. So these assessments really help us with our evidence and gathering evidence of how well you're performing, so we can kind of gauge kind of whereabouts you are in terms of your target grade and different things about that. So this is what we're talking about a lot, about you being a self-regulated learner, and actually this is probably the most important thing in order for you to be successful at post 16. Self-regulated learners, they are motivated, they are engaged. The first thing is, me and Mrs. Curtis and your tutors talk a lot about attendance, and attendance being such a key area for you, because you need to be in lessons in front of your teachers. We talk about 5 hours per subject per week extra work. So if you think about it, you've only got 14 hours of lessons roughly, and then so what we're saying is actually for 5 hours per lesson time or subject time you've got, that actually takes you up to about 30 hours worth of work. You think back to Year 11, you had 25 hours, and then it's almost saying do an hour of homework a night. So that's our kind of minimum expectation at A level about what you should be doing. So that's why we talk about study time being really important. And that's about how you use that study time. So use it effectively in school, about getting your head down, preparing properly, make sure you work out what you're going to do in that hour or 2 hours, and how you're going to do it. And actually, if it's not going in, when you monitor your performance, if you're like, well, actually this work is not going in, what can you do better? How can you change things? So it's about getting us effective learners and self-regulated learners, so the time that we're spending on our work is the most effective, because I know at 17 and 18 it's a really key area, and time is very precious for you. We've seen this before about the forgetting curve, and the importance of kind of going back and revisiting work. We call it interleaving, going back over work again and again, and that's practice, isn't it? That's purposeful practice, and we all know that is why we talk about revision. Year 12 students, we talk about the gather, filter, test that you would have done last year, and it's about getting yourself into those practices again, because we know the more you go back over work and revisit work, okay, the likelihood it's going to embed into your long-term memory, and that's what we want really, because it's for Year 12, it's a 2-year course. For Year 13, obviously you're going back over your year 12 work, as well as your current Year 13 work as well. So you've seen this before, and I'm going to talk about this a lot this year. I will keep going back over it, about how you're going to overcome any difficulties. I spoke to a student the other day, and they said, look, I did 3 hours worth of notes, and was working really hard. And I was kind of saying, well, actually, if it's not working for you, why are we doing the same thing? We need to change how you're working to make it more effective. So even before you set down to do any work, you need to be thinking about, right, what am I going to get out of this hour or 2 hours or half an hour? What's going to be tricky? Planning ahead so you know you can make it most effective. And then the monitoring, I think this for me is really the key bit about sometimes we carry on with something even though we know it's not working. Some of you will have strategies that work really effectively for you. Others will think you're working well or think you're working hard. And actually, this is a good opportunity when you do these assessments to monitor kind of how well that's going and think, actually, I need to make some changes. Because when you get your feedback, from your assessments, there's no point saying, oh, that's not very good. It's about our next steps and how we do that. So that's what I'm talking about evaluating. Some students find it really difficult to get the feedback. They see it as criticism, and they think about, oh, I might need to change subjects. It's not about that at all. It's about obviously how you've been working the last couple of weeks might not be effective. You have got those grades that say that academically you are able to access that course for year 12, and the same as in year 13 as well. You passed year 12, that's why you're in year 13, because your teachers are saying you're able to cope with the demands of the work. So academically you're able. It's just making sure then that you are doing the right things and you're working in the right way, and you're taking on board that feedback, because no one will get 100%. No one will get a perfect answer. No one, that's why it's about the journey through year 12 and year 13. But it's about what have you learned, and that's why we talk about green pen marking. That's why we talk about dirt time, because this is a really key area for us in how we check. And it's really important that you take on board the feedback from your teachers, because the next lot of assessments next term will be, will be just as important, as there are challenges every single day. So I've realised I've probably spoken too long. 7 minutes, too long. And golden nuggets then. So it's about, hopefully you're enjoying it, enjoying the challenge, because it is a challenge. We know that, but you should be enjoying the challenge. I know sometimes it's not always easy, but what we're working towards is those assessments at the end of the year 12 and end of the year 13. And there's a couple of ideas there, but for me, number 5 is key. Play around with your ideas, the ideas that we give you in tutor. Ask for help from a friend, family member, teacher. You've still got tutor time. Tutor time is a great opportunity because you've got smaller groups where you can just ask your tutor for any questions, any support. And of course, I'm around, Mrs. Curtis is around for us to help you over the next couple of years. So best of luck for year 12. Any assessments you've got at the end of this week, and also the feedback, make sure you react positively to that. And also year 13, best of luck for your assessments coming up the next 2 weeks. Make sure you work hard, and make sure you do realise that we're all in this together, and we're going to face those challenges every day to make us better and more effective. Take care. Great to speak to you. See you later. Bye bye.